Most people understand narcissistic abuse as manipulation, gaslighting, or emotional exploitation. But there is a much deeper, more disturbing dimension of this abuse that is rarely understood and even more rarely believed. Narcissists don't only violate boundaries or control emotions, they can go further. They can steal your identity, not metaphorically, literally. Piece by piece, they begin to imitate, absorb, and repurpose who you are, your personality, your talents, your voice, your humor, your way of being in the world. It starts subtly, almost like admiration. But over time, it becomes clear. They are not just close to you, they are becoming you. And this, too, is abuse. This phenomenon is known as malignant mirroring, a predatory psychological tactic used by narcissists to infiltrate a person's mind by imitating them, duplicating their traits, and then slowly rewriting the boundaries of identity until you no longer know where you end and they begin. It's not done out of love or fascination. It's done out of envy, emptiness, and a deep desire to consume and erase what they cannot authentically generate themselves. In the beginning, this can feel magnetic. When a narcissist mirrors you, it can feel like chemistry, like destiny. They say the right things, share the same interests, reflect your values, your dreams, even your pain. This is not a coincidence. It is a tactic. By imitating you, they build fast trust. You feel seen, understood, connected. This is called love bombing, and the mirroring element is what makes it so intoxicating. You may believe you found someone who shares your soul. In truth, you found someone who is studying your soul in order to simulate it. This stage creates a false intimacy. The narcissist uses your identity as a blueprint to build a version of themselves they believe you will attach to. But this version isn't real. It's a mask, a performance. And eventually, that performance falls apart. As time goes on, the narcissist begins to replace admiration with entitlement. What they once copied out of flattery, they now begin to claim as their own. Your ideas may become their original thoughts. Your language and voice may be used to impress others. They may take credit for your insights, or your style, mimic your body language, or even echo your traumas as if they were theirs. And all of this happens without acknowledgement, without honesty, without your permission. You may begin to feel like a stranger in your own story. Aspects of yourself are being used, performed in front of you, and often in front of others, while you are systematically invalidated or ignored. The narcissist begins to rewrite reality. They gaslight you, suggesting you're mistaken if you point it out, that you're being dramatic, that it's a coincidence, that you should be flattered. But it's not flattery, it's psychological erasure. The root of this behavior lies in the narcissist's fragile or non-existent core self. Unlike emotionally healthy individuals, narcissists do not have a grounded, stable identity. Instead, their inner world is a construction, a hollow shell filled with unresolved shame, insecurity, and hidden inferiority. They survive by forming a false self, a curated, grandiose image designed to gain admiration and control. But a false self needs content, and they don't create it themselves. They harvest it. That's where you come in. The narcissist subconsciously, or sometimes consciously, identifies people with traits they desire: authenticity, creativity, kindness, empathy, intelligence, charisma. Then they attach to those people, mirror them, and absorb their identity like an emotional parasite. They don't become you because they love you. They become you because they have no true version of themselves, and your presence threatens them with its completeness. So they do what predators do. They capture, they extract, they convert. For the target of this kind of abuse, the effects are profound. It goes beyond betrayal. It becomes a violation of selfhood. The sense of being imitated, yet erased, of having your essence copied and claimed, produces a kind of psychological vertigo. You begin to question your own uniqueness, your voice, even your reality. And that's not accidental. Narcissists often pair identity theft with gaslighting and invalidation. Once they've absorbed parts of your personality, they work to dismantle your sense of ownership over them. They may accuse you of copying them. They may twist your history, mock your originality, or suggest you're not as special as you think. All of this is designed to keep you off balance, questioning, and emotionally dependent. You may begin to feel drained, anxious, invisible. You may have a hard time expressing yourself because every time you try, the narcissist is already performing a version of you, louder, more confidently, and often in front of others. This is a form of psychological theft, not only of your identity, but of your social power and credibility. In many cases, others don't see what's happening. They see the narcissist's charm. They see the stolen traits, but they don't know those traits weren't theirs to begin with. This compounds the pain. The narcissist walks away with your personality, wielding it as if they built it, while you are left behind trying to explain what was taken. And often, people don't believe you. They call it jealousy. They minimize the experience. They suggest you're being dramatic or imagining things. This adds to the emotional isolation and confusion. But the truth remains, narcissistic identity theft is real. And the people who endure it often suffer deeply in silence, trying to recover not only from abuse, but from an internal fragmentation that feels almost impossible to articulate. When someone steals your ideas, your style, or your words, it's not just annoying, it's existentially wounding. Your personality is not a costume. It's the result of lived experience, introspection, healing, learning, and growth. It is yours. It came from pain, joy, thought, and resilience. And when someone takes that and uses it as a prop in their performance without acknowledging its source, it feels like a form of soul theft. That's because it is. A healthy person is inspired by others, but they integrate that inspiration with authenticity. A narcissist doesn't integrate. They imitate, then act as if the imitation is original. They use what they take to bolster their false self and feed their social image, while the person they took it from is often discarded, erased, or even defamed. Recovering from this kind of violation is not easy, but it is possible. The first step is to name it. Understand that what happened to you is real, and it was not just imitation. It was identity-based abuse. Recognize the pattern, the mirroring, the absorption, the invalidation, the gaslighting, the discard. Understanding this cycle is the foundation of healing. The next step is to reclaim what is yours. This means drawing energetic and emotional boundaries between yourself and the narcissist's projection of you. Reconnect with your core values, your voice, your uniqueness, not through comparison or fear, but through clarity. Begin to document what is yours, not for validation, but for internal anchoring. Keep a journal of your ideas. Explore your dreams again. Re-inhabit your style, your language, your creativity. Not because you need to prove anything, but because it belongs to you. And most importantly, don't internalize their theft as a loss of worth. What they stole is proof of your power. They needed your identity because they had none of their own. They needed your light because they live in shadow. Your originality didn't disappear. It was imitated. And what is imitated can never replace what is authentic. No matter how convincingly they wore your personality like a costume, the truth is, it wasn't theirs. They can't recreate your depth. They can't maintain your creativity. They can't sustain your emotional authenticity. What they present is a facade. What you carry is a soul. Eventually, that facade will crack. Because stolen personalities can't survive where depth is required. In time, their performance collapses under the weight of its own emptiness. But yourself, your real self, can only grow stronger, wiser, and more luminous once it is reclaimed. So take yourself back. And if no one ever believed you, believe yourself now. What was done to you is real, and so is your power to rebuild. Thank you for watching. Please share and subscribe to our channel. See you soon.